All right. Hey, everyone. I am here with Eric.marksbury. Hey, Eric.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm great. Sunshine. It's a great day.
Hey. All right. So you're with Keller Williams in Nashville. And one of the strategies you're using to build your business is door knocking, which is also how I built my business. It's very exciting.
Very cool.
So tell us about your process and what you do, and then people can see if that's something they want to do.
Okay. Um, I'm a relatively new agent. Got my license back in November of last year.
Hmm.
I got with Keller Williams and started going through the training program. I went through a farming class with one of the mega agents here, and she was talking about door knocking and cold calling the neighborhood and direct
Yep.
mail and stuff like that. And then back in mid February, we got a really bad snowstorm here. And I had
Yeah.
already ordered my postcards and I was already going to go to and start door knocking. But I had to drive my wife to work because the roads were terrible. And I just, on my way back home, it just kind of hit me hot chocolate.
Oh,
And so I stopped at the Publix, which is a grocery store here in Nashville, another Publix, a Target, and a Kroger's. And I bought all the hot chocolate they had, about 260 packets of hot chocolate, and I taped them to my
wow.
postcards that I've got these little 4x6 postcards.
Uh-huh.
And I went door knocking in our neighborhood and knocked on 260 doors.
Nice.
Everybody was home because the roads in
Yeah.
Nashville were shut down, so nobody could go anywhere. So it was a perfect time to catch people at home and a perfect gift to give somebody that's, it's cold, it's snowing, it doesn't do that much here. And
Right.
when we get 8 inches of snow, everybody,
Yeah, right, exactly. Let's
so
before we go on, let me point out a couple of things. So I think one of the questions I get about door knocking is when do you go? And I think you have to think like when are people home is a
right,
good time to go because you're not just trying to leave something, you're trying to talk to them. That's the point,
right,
right?
right.
So sometimes I'll go on like certain holidays where I know they'll be outside, like Memorial Day or something like that, try to get a free hot dog and a free beer, you know?
Right, right.
It's worked one time.
Yep.
But like, yeah, definitely when they're going to be home. So like, after work or like even when the kids usually like around like when the kids are getting dropped off is a good time because there's a lot of people out and things like that.
Right.
I did one time go door knocking in the morning and I got a listing,
See.
but I blocked her in the driveway. It was
Well, you're not going anywhere until I get your list.
it was an expired listing, but that's different.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's still
So
something.
yeah, tell us what you say when so you're bringing a postcard, which what does it say?
It's just got, are you looking for a real estate agent? It's got my picture on it.
Nice.
Neighborhood, experts, got my contact information on the back. So what I found for the perfect time to door knock, there really isn't because people are
Mhm.
working from home now so much.
Now, yeah.
I really vary. Sometimes I'll go in the morning, and sometimes I'll go in the afternoon. Sometimes
Nice.
I'll go on the weekends, and it just depends on who you catch at home.
Yeah.
So there really isn't a great time to tell them.
Mhm.
Yeah, 4 to 6 is always a great time, in
Yeah.
the afternoon. But man, you may catch somebody at work and wants to get out of a meeting, and somebody's at my door, and they go, now you're in a 10-minute conversation, and that's happened to me. So
Yeah.
thank me for getting them out of a meeting.
Right.
Um, so and now I'm coming back around, and I'm coming back around to talk about what I'm handing out now, which is wildflower seeds. And so I'm coming back around to the same people, and my script is typically, "Hey, I'm Eric with Keller Williams. I'm your neighbor over on Louisiana. I'm just out of here introducing myself to my neighbors and handing out wildflower seeds. Would you like some wildflower seeds?"
Uh-huh.
And most people act like you're handing them a pot of gold, which is, I mean, it's free. They love something free, and it's
Yeah.
springtime. It's nice and flowers and birth and regrowth and all that stuff, and people enjoy it. The few people that I get that say no, I'm fine. I'll flip my card and say, well, my contact information is on the back. If you hear of anybody that's looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate, I'd appreciate if you kept me in mind. Does that sound fair? And that
Nice.
that works. Does that sound fair? Because nobody's no, that's not fair. Of course they will.
Right.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. And 99 times out of 100 they reach for the card. So
Nice.
so that's worked really well for me. So So the hot chocolate, and then come back around with wildflower seeds, and then I'm gonna come back around.
So how long ago, like how much time in between?
I allow about 6 to 8 weeks,
Okay.
and then I've got a cold call list, and I'll cold call in between.
Okay.
Hey, I'm the crazy guy that was out in the snowstorm handing out hot chocolate packets, and they remember me.
Of
Um,
course, because you're crazy.
yeah, I'm the crazy. I'm from Ohio as well, from Dayton.
Yeah.
So this was, I mean, this is like
I know it's
spring to
nothing.
us. I mean,
Yeah,
8 inches
yeah.
of snow, are you kidding? We never even canceled school for that.
Right.
So yeah, so about every 6 to 8 weeks, I'll come back around, and now I've got the summertime, which is popsicles. So I've got
Oh,
four
fun.
400 popsicles here taped up and ready to go. So I'm gonna go back around and hit with popsicles.
So you're talking about like every 2 months, basically. So 1 month you're door knocking, the next month you're calling, then you're door knocking, then you're calling.
In between the door knocking is usually
Right.
every 6 to 8 weeks. I'm door knocking. In between those times, I'm cold calling.
Right, right. Okay, that's good. So when you cold call, I mean, we're back to we'll do circle prospecting, but like, what are you saying then? Like, I'm the guy that dropped that
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I'm the guy that left the wildflower seeds at your door. I just want to make sure you got them. Most say yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Then I'll just. So, how long y'all lived in the neighborhood? I tried to start that
Nice.
conversation. What do you like about living here? What's your favorite part of being? What brought you here? Just kind of get that conversation
Get
going.
it
Stay
going.
away from yes no answers. Get them talking. And then I'll typically ask them if they've had a home evaluation done lately. I
Nice.
find a lot of my clients don't really
Yeah, like,
know how
have you
much the
been
home is
watching the
worth.
market? Have you
Yeah,
done a yeah, I think that's a great question.
yeah. I said, even if you've had it done 2 weeks ago, I guarantee you it's not right anymore.
Right, exactly.
So then I try to get the appointment with that to come back around and say, well, 15 minutes, I can sit down with you with some comps, and we can go over what we think we could list your house for. Because as an investor, it's important for you to keep track of your investments, right?
Yeah, and they'll
And
be like,
yeah,
"Right."
yeah.
Yeah. They're not gonna be like, "No, that's
No, I don't.
not."
I don't care what my house is doing. Yeah.
Exactly. That's awesome. Those are really great questions, and I think it's good that you're only saying, like, a couple of sentences, and then you're asking a question to, like, engage with them, and you're trying to dig, see if there's an opportunity there, and see if they're motivated, see if, they wanna move.
Right. Right.
Yeah. We do have I'll give people I actually have a script that's really similar to yours. So if people want the circle prospecting script, they can get it at jennifermertlin.com/vault. It'll be in there. But do you have, so is your plan then to take, this is your neighborhood, right? That you
Right.
live in? So
Yep.
is your plan to just do this all year round?
No, I've kind of worked into another neighborhood starting last week. This one's
Okay.
kind of more. This is where this is young professionals that live here where I live that have really small children. Where I'm going now, where I'm working now, is a more mature neighborhood with bigger lots, bigger houses, and so
Okay.
that's where these young professionals are going to want to go. So I'm starting to work that area now because there's a lot of people out there that have been out there since 1950. They
Wow.
live on 3 acre lots in Nashville, Davidson County, which is, I mean, the
That's
holy grail. They bought their house in 1950 for $25,000, and now it's
right.
worth $1 million
Right.
because of the lot that's sitting on. And they'll
Yeah,
come
they
in.
better sell it before,
Right.
hopefully that tax bill won't go in place
Right.
where they're trying
Right.
to keep the
Yeah.
basis lower, you know?
That gets brought up a lot. And I said, well, you're not that far from Cheatham County, which is a county next door, and they don't have those property taxes. So that's my comeback for that. When they say, yeah, the taxes are going up, and these
Yeah,
people are probably not too far away from either, moving in with their children or moving down
right,
to Florida. So just developing the relationships with those people now, because those will be 3 years down the road, the people that will be listing. So
right.
I want to build, this is kind of my little pipeline of feeding,
Yeah.
nations into the West Mead
I
area.
mean, people need to know that like this type of farming, it's really like a 2-year commitment,
It is.
and like just how you're doing it, like you're dropping off, you're calling, you're dropping off, you're calling. Like this is how it works.
Yeah.
Like in order to stay in front of them, they're not going to remember you.
It's a long game. It's not,
It's a
that's
long game. Yeah.
a long game. You have to play the long game, and it is a marathon. Uh, And that's why you have 87% that drop out, or whatever the
Yeah.
stat is. I mean,
It's something like that.
it's
Yeah, they
something
drop
like that,
out.
but it's not a good number, the number of
No,
people that
it's
drop
too
out.
high.
Yeah, it's too high, but they watch HGTV and they think they drive around, show people $1 million houses, and that's all you do.
You
And
show them two, and then
yeah,
they
you show
pick
them through
one,
and
and
they
then
buy
that's it.
one. No, you don't have the 8 offers that get rejected. You don't see that on HGTV. So,
Right, right, right. So if
so
somebody's interested in starting door knocking, what are like what is a couple of tips that you have for them?
what I did when I started is I will look at a neighborhood, and this is what I typically show everybody, how to get started. I'll bring in the MLS and I'll look at it, just a zip code in an area that I want to work, and then I'll focus in where I see a lot of listings,
Yeah, good
a lot of
idea.
under contract, and then I'll clear that out and I'll pick up close for the last 3 months and just look at what's closed and see what kind of action I'm getting, what kind of movement I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So if I feel good about the turnover rate, the size of the neighborhood, the number of listings in the neighborhood, and then when I looked at the sold, I really break it down. This is for another neighborhood that I've kind of worked in, Sylvan Park, where I broke it down to the last 3 months, every condo, townhouse from the year they built,
Mhm.
number of beds, number of baths, number of square feet, how many comps I'm basing that on, and then what the average per square foot is for that house. So that
Okay.
I have that information, so that when I'm door knocking a neighborhood and somebody asks me, hey, what's
Right,
my neighborhood worth? I can pull this out and say, well, based on these 4 comps that sold in the last 3 months, just like your house,
right.
you will look at, 272 a square foot.
Whatever, right.
Right.
But
And
let's
that's
talk.
our baseline that we start with.
Right,
Now I can walk through. Now let me walk through your house. Let me
right.
see what separates your house from everybody else's,
Exactly.
and then we can really get a good idea what we can list your house for.
No, that's perfect. And where are you getting the numbers?
MLS.
They have phone numbers?
Oh, the phone numbers for the people.
Yeah.
Oh, call list. I get a call list from. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like, do you have a program that you use?
Um, I don't know. It's through the coaching club
Okay.
with Keller Williams, and they provide me the call list.
Oh, I think they use, yes.
I'm
Okay,
not
yeah,
sure.
Keller Williams does, it's like a third party. I forget
Yeah,
who it is, but yeah, they have it. So there's a lot of different places to get numbers and people.
right,
Okay.
right.
Perfect. That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that with us. I think we're finding a lot of success door knocking too now. It kind of went away, but now it's back.
It is, and people
So
like. I mean, I have not had. I mean, I've had a couple people act like I'm trying to hand them the black plague, but for 90% of the people, 95, they're
yeah,
just glad somebody's knocking on their door. They're bored. They're at
they
home.
finally answer. They
Yeah,
used to
somebody,
not
yeah, and they
answer.
enjoy talking to you, and as long as you come from a position of value, that you're just bringing the value, and then you're not. I've had people say, "Well, there's no soliciting out here." Well, I'm not
I'm
trying
not
to sell you
soliciting.
anything. I'm just going to give you
Yeah.
some wildflower seeds. Is that okay?
Oh
And
my gosh,
it's disarming. Yeah,
we
I'm
got
just providing
yeah.
service. I'm not trying to
I'm
get you.
not trying to.
Yeah.
We got there was one time we were door knocking a while back and we got the police called on us and then they said we had to go down to the courthouse and get a permit. I was like, "Oh Lord." It
I
was
talked to
funny.
somebody recently that got the cops called on him, and
Yeah.
the cop came out and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I have to do this," and he got
Yeah.
the guy's contact information. I think he's a buyer. The
Oh,
cop is a
nice.
buyer. Yeah, so he got a buyer out of it.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, if people have other questions and they want to get a hold of you, what is the best way?
My phone number is 615-878-0389, and my email is eric.marksbury, MARKSBURY @kw.com.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you being on. Thanks,
Thank you
Eric.
so much for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.